Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Metropolitan Airports Commission, our December 15th meeting, this last meeting of the calendar year. I am Patty Gartlin. I'm the acting chair of the Metropolitan Airports Commission, and we're so delighted to have all of you here today. Welcome all of our commissioners. The only one we're missing today is Commissioner Crimmins. With no further ado, we'll go ahead and start in the agenda. But I would be remiss if I don't at least first give recognition to the commission chair I first served under, Dan Boven, who is in our audience today. So good to have you here. It's comforting for me as acting chair to have you out there, because I first cut my teeth on this under your leadership. So welcome, special welcome.
I promise I'll wait to talk for 3 minutes.
And I have the button, you know that. So we'll go ahead and launch into the meeting. We'll start with open forum. And open forum is an opportunity for us to hear from members of the public who have interest in airport-related topics, which are of interest, of course, to us. We look forward to hearing from you. If you do wish to speak, we will ask you to come to the podium. We've also asked that you fill out a speaker card so that we know for our public records we're recognizing the appropriate person, have your name spelled correctly. I apologize up front if I mispronounce. If you have not filled out a card yet, Betsy is in the backside portion of the room available to give you a card. There is, at this point, I think we have 6 or 7 people who have asked to speak, and we will ask that you keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes, and I will give you a friendly reminder when you're approaching that time, and then a not-so-friendly reminder when you've exceeded it. But if I could first ask Reverend Dr. Rebecca Vocal.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Dr. Rebecca Vocal, and I'm a pastor at Lyndale United Church of Christ. We are in the midst of a moral crisis. Operation Metro Surge began by the president calling Somali Minnesotans garbage. A big influx of ICE drivers, ICE agents driving in unmarked cars are detaining our neighbors. Some of those detained include citizens targeted because they appear Somali or Latinx. One man was detained from his minivan, his 2 small children left behind alone, crying. One student was detained at Augsburg, and the staff and fellow students demanding to see a judicial warrant had guns pulled on them. One white woman serving as a legal observer was detained for 5 hours, her wedding ring cut off. ICE agents berate legal observers or those seeking to protect their neighbors, including derogatory remarks to women about their bodies or obnoxious promises to, quote, dedicate my next arrest to you, tackling Minnesotans in the snow, using tear gas on observers. This is happening at MAC, too. Immigrant workers are being abducted from MAC property, and deportation flights are happening at MSP. Much of this is done in the name of a distorted and diseased Christianity. As a Christian pastor, I cannot sit by. I cannot let this happen, not in my name. Particularly in this season of Advent, when we as Christians are called to give birth to compassion and justice, to welcome the stranger and stand against oppression, I am compelled to witness today. In my own life, Somali and Latinx neighbors are helping to keep my 90-year-old mother with dementia alive through their gentle and loving care. Our Somali and Latinx neighbors bear the face of God. My friends, now is the time to stand, for all of us to stand. Now is the time for all of us to do whatever is in our power to do the right and moral thing. We must act with compassion and courage. For example, in King County, Washington, ICE flights are live streamed, and a list of flights is published. Why not here at MSP? As MAC commissioners, you can expose the actions of the federal government happening right here at our airport. You have the moral obligation. Use the power you have, and please act. I promise you that we will stand with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend. So you all will hear when that 3-minute mark comes by that little to invite Rabbi Eva Cohen to the podium. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Rabbi Eva Cohen, and I lead Ora Met, Minnesota Congregation for Humanistic Judaism. I'm calling on the Metropolitan Airports Commission to use its power to address the intensive immigration enforcement operation that's immorally targeting Minnesota's Somali and other immigrant communities. Living in Minneapolis' Seward neighborhood, many families on my block are Somali. So are many of my daughter's friendly kindergarten classmates and the amazing rideshare drivers who help me travel to lead services, officiate life cycle ceremonies, and visit my congregants in the hospital. These Somali Minnesotans and other immigrant community members are terrified right now because ICE is terrorizing them, harassing, kidnapping, and detaining people who have done everything right, separating children from parents, ignoring due process. My neighbors, immigrants or children of immigrants, are being terrorized because they've become targets of racist, dehumanizing rhetoric and scapegoating. For me as a rabbi, this sets off particular alarm bells. Jewish history is scarred by moments when Jews were depicted as filth, vermin, or disease, and then targeted violently, detained, deported, and even killed. My congregation includes children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors who are horrified to see innocent people in Minnesota experiencing terror like their parents and grandparents endured under the Nazis. The Torah, Jewish tradition's most sacred text, contains 36 commandments to treat strangers with fairness and justice. These commands include, "You shall not wrong or oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And the stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love them as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." If you have immigrant heritage, think about your ancestors' experiences. Did they face oppression or discrimination because others saw them as strangers? Were they loved and welcomed as neighbors? We can't erase past injustices, but if you can find creative ways to protect airport workers and drivers in the airport rideshare lots, if you can make deportation flight information transparent again, when future people write the books, you'll be standing on the right side of history. Minnesota and its faith communities, with our proud history of welcoming immigrants and refugees, will stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Hassan Yusuf. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, yeah, good afternoon. My name is Hassan Yusuf. I'm a rideshare driver, lead organizer. I just want to, this is not my first time coming here, but I haven't spoke, but let my drivers speak. We've been asking MEC to do better, for the dignified waiting lot for a while. On top of it, MEC keep it's telling us they're going to repurpose this place for the waiting lot. But recently, I just want to talk about recent activity that happened at the airport. On Friday around 9 o'clock, I got a call from one of the driver. I was in Minneapolis. They actually terrified, saw a car that is unmarked, it was a window tint, and license plate number was New York, and they were like, hey, this car doesn't belong here. So I ran at the airport lot. Come to find out, so there was a group of people, not only that driver, but there was a couple of drivers that, at the waiting lot. So we called the airport police hotline, which is not the non-emergency one. So we notified the TNC, the car is not belong to the lot, and to make sure that, the drivers are, safety is concerned. The reason that I called in the airport to make sure that the driver lot is only used for TNC drivers, as you can see what's happening in the world right now. The drivers are fearful, not only ICE, but political people who, can gain access to that lot, and that's what they fear for. So what happened is there was an ICE officer who was sitting at the lot, randomly checking the drivers. Most of the drivers nowadays, if you see the lot, it's really empty, not, because they fear of, even though myself, I'm a U.S. citizen, I have nothing to hide, but it's just because of, our president calling us, to profile in our community. It's just, that makes us scrutiny. So what we're asking is for MEC to do better. We part of this MEC. We've been asking for dignified waiting lot, and we want MEC to protect us. The police officers showed up in a couple of minutes while the ICE detaining driver, and they took him. They were doing nothing. They were just standing out there. I don't even know why we'd call them in. I mean, what their capacity of, I'm not saying that, they're not doing their job, but I don't know what their capacity is. What we are asking is to make sure that this lot is utilized for only drivers, not a place where ICE will come and check if I'm a U.S. citizen or, if I'm, where was I born. I mean, that's not what I'm here. So we are here to make a living. So that is what's going on, and we are asking MEC to make sure that, that driver lot is utilized for TNC.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. We appreciate your comments. If I could invite Kali Jama to the podium. Is Mr. Jama here? Oh, my apologies. I assumed something incorrectly there. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Kali. I'm sorry, I was running to get here. I didn't have a real ID, so they had to put me through a lot to come up here. But yeah, my name is Kali. I'm an Uber driver, and I noticed so many ICE has been coming to the spot that we are in, and they will knock our doors and try to ask us to come out. And I will let people know that they do have the right to remain silent and stuff, just give them a little bit of education about what's going on. But a lot of the Somali community, I can only speak for my community, is the most who are getting attacked. They will not go to any other community. So once they see a Somali person or look like a Somali person, they will come and act like they're friends with them. Because a lot of Somali Ubers do drive a car that have a different tab, like a Florida, California, New York. So theirs is majority New York tab, and a lot of them don't be knowing that they're ICE until they get out the car. So they've been harassing us there. And I feel and now when we get out and trying to record it, they do bring the spray out. And they will start spraying out of nowhere. And it's just been difficult as American citizen. I'm an American citizen. I've been living here for 3 decades. We are the first Somali generation that came to Minnesota. And I love Minnesota. Minnesota is my city, my state, where I grew up, where I got my education, where I raised my kids, where my whole family lived, where I had brothers who are unalived here, but I'm still here as Americans. So I just want us to able to have a peace of mind to work, not worrying about if someone is going to come and knock on your door. And I usually ask them, are you the police officer or are you officer? Whenever I tell them I'm calling a police, they will walk away. But once they see that you cannot speak English or do not know your rights, they will pull you out of the car, which has been happening the last couple of days, and it's just getting crazier and crazier. I see cops there, but they don't do anything. They just sit there to watch. I don't know the purpose of them being there if they're not going to defend us or speak for us. The cops themselves been harassing us when the parking lot gets packed. They will tell us we cannot enter. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. I always have to work. Like, we don't have any, I work most nighttime, and we don't have safety area to go. Like certain places around the airport, they do not allow you to sit there more than an hour or 2. So once it gets dark, that court is the only safety place that we have because everybody knows each other. We all come out and feel safer. But when it gets packed, they block us. I have plenty of videos that I've been recording about them. I've been telling them that's not right because we're all here to make income. We're not here to party or sit around. Everybody, I'd rather be home. It's below 0 sometimes. Who wants to sit out there and just sit there to sit? So it's like we don't have freedom as drivers. It just seems like, where's the fairness of us employees who are working for Uber? I believe Uber makes so much money, but they're not supporting us. We don't have places to pray. Like when I have to pray, I have to take a break to go to my mom's house, the closest place to my sister, to just do a prayer. When I need to use the bathroom, I have to leave the area to go use the bathroom. And then once you leave the bathroom, your coats go down. So let's say you came there when you were like 165 drivers, and you wait until 2, and you're a woman, and things happen, and you need to use the bathroom. Once you leave, you got to start over. And we don't have any safety bathroom for women. And I've been asking Uber and Lyft, like, why don't we have a specific place for us to go use it? Because the hotels, they do not allow you to go use the hotels.
Ms. Jama, if you could wrap up pretty quick here.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, we just need safety zone. We need somewhere to feel like we are safe. Like, it's just not fair as workers. We are taxpayers. And why can the county or the airport defend us and support us?
Thank you, Ms. Jama. I'd like to invite Adnan Mullen. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Galab wanaagsan.
Good afternoon,
Nin walba waxaan ku salaamayaa masabka uu ku fadhiyo meeshan.
and it's a pleasure to meeting you all, and I greet you all, the position you guys are sitting on.
Marka koowaadna maaha, marka labaadna maahan aan soo hor istaagayno commissionka.
This is not the first or the second or the third time that we have came here.
Waxaan ka baqaynina waa dhaceen.
And what we were afraid and what we were talking about just happened.
Annaga daraad waxaa nagula sameeyey dhibaato weyn oo harassment ah annagoo waddanka sharci ku leh taxpayerna
A couple of days ago, an incident that just happened at the MAC Airport, it was something that was very disgusting. Even though we are citizens and we are taxpayers, it was something that was unbelievable, that was not acceptable.
annagoo shaqadeena u soo kallahnay aan airportka nimid oo annagoo la baxanay tax micnaha birmadka airportka annagoo leh ayaa waxaa nagula sameeyey waxaana soo weeraray ICE.
Yeah, us as the drivers, we have a MAC permits, and we pay money for that. And sitting at the lot, while we were sitting, ICE came out there and attacked us.
kadib waxaa dhacday annaga waxaan soo wacnay booliska airportka. booliskana wuxuu nagu sameeyey inuu nagu eegto wixii meesha ka dhacay.
And once we were there, we called the police, and the police was just out there, just not doing anything.
booliska abaalkeena wuxuu ku guday qofkii markii ICE ay qabatay furihiina gaarigana ay qaadatay taleefankana ay qaateen gaariga meesha yaallo oo baabuurtii ka shaqaynaysa airportka oo ka mid yahay oo annaga waxaan soo marnaa background check.
And once the guy who got detained, his car was there, and once the car was there, the police said they're going to take their car within an hour.
booliisku wuxuu noogu jawaabay annagii wacna wuxuu noogu jawaabay gaariga hal saac ka badan meesha intuu yaalo waa tawgareynayna.
And once the police, once we asked them, what is the reason why you towing this car, the person who was driving it just got detained by ICE.
kadib waxaa dhacday darawalladii inay qalqalaan ee xataa musqusha ay geli waayaan.
And the drivers got nervous, and they were so afraid they could not even go to the bathroom once they saw ICE in there.
intaa kadib annaga horta wada shaqaynta aan wada shaqeyna annagii maadaama darawalla aan nahay iyo Mike waa ka fiirsanaynaa.
Us as the drivers and Mac, we're supposed to have a great relationship since we work together at this airport, but it seems like the dignity and everything that we are asking is not being taken seriously.
annaga waxaana loo diidan yahay diinteenna iyo dhaqankeenna.
I don't know if it's an issue that about our religion or our culture that we are not being respected.
dadka iga dambeeya waxaa markhaati oga dhigaya annaga bartaasaan ku tukannaa salaadaan ku tukanna waa meeshaas qabowgaas uu jiro -5na uu yahay.
The picture that he's holding, he said that's where we prayed at when it's outside. As you can see, drivers maybe you cannot. It's outside. It's cold.
daraad asagoo minus uu yahay waxaan ku tukanayna banaanka kore elboorka waa u jeedin miidiyaa si fiican u fiiriya shacabkan si fiican u fiiriya waa kuwaasa wadada dhexdeedana waa.
And we were praying at the outside the parking lot when it was -6.
saliyadii aan ku tukanayna barfaa wada qaaday waa kuwaasa si fiican u fiiriya miidiyana waa kuwaasa oo tusayna miidiya shacabkuna tusayna oo markhaati gelinayna.
And this is the carpets that we pray, and the snow has covered all the carpets that we pray because there's no place to put once we leave.
waxaan aad ugu faraxsanahay inaan nacabsi gelisaan annaga. waxaan aad ugu faraxsanahay inaan nacabsi gelisaan oo meesha dhexdeeda oo annaga nagu cabsi gelisaan.
I don't know if this is about us feeling intimidated or for us to be scared and leave the area.
midda labaad aan ku faraxsanahay waxay tahay idinkina kuleel ku jirtaan annaga qabow aan taaganna.
He said, I'm satisfied or happy that you guys in a warm place and we are out there freezing our butt off.
miidiya waxaan u sheegayaa elboorka wixii ka dhacayo iyaga markhaati ah inay aadaan oo soo fiiriyaan ee soo arkaan bankilaaga waxa ka socdo kuleelka iyo micnaha siday tahay anaga meeshaan ku tukana soo arkaan miidiya. Thank you.
And he said, I would like the media to go check what the drivers are going through and what they pray and the place that they're sitting down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. I have just one more speaker card, and that is Samantha Diaz. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you. Commissioners, my name is Samantha Diaz-Powell. I am the political director for SEIU Local 26, and so we represent over 1,500 passenger service workers, janitors, and window cleaners here at MSP. We also are the home of the Right Share Driver Organizing Committee, where drivers are fighting for their right to collectively bargain. I do want to begin in grounding this conversation in reality. What I am raising, what folks have been raising is not abstract, it is not theoretical. These are events that have taken place at our airport involving workers who keep MSP running every single day. We do appreciate the open lines of communication. We really do, but we do need the MEC to understand that the indiscriminate attacks on our immigrant workers, that is not going away, and it is very real, and it is here at MSP. In recent days, one of our members was harassed by ICE directly in front of the G building. As you are well aware, these badge workers are subject to rigorous background checks. There is absolutely no reason why ICE agents should be questioning and harassing badged airport workers about their status on airport property. That worker knew their rights, and because they did, they were not taken. We have to ask ourselves here, do we believe it is okay that workers at your airport should have to rely on their own legal knowledge to simply get through a workday safely? You know,
and we know that there has been an increase in abandoned vehicles along the roadways around the airport. That is not a coincidence. That is a direct result when an entire community, our Somali community, is targeted by the President of the United States and the cowards wearing those masks. Last week, ICE detained a rideshare driver, a father who has lived in this country for 10 years. And the result was chaos in the rideshare route. This is not only a moral crisis, it is an operational one for this airport. The escalations we are seeing are deliberate and ongoing. In this moment, we need the MAC to stand with your immigrant workers to affirm that MSP will be a place where people can work without fear, racial profiling, or terror. Given how deeply this airport relies on immigrant labor, that responsibility is fundamental. At the same time, nearly 2,000 airport workers still don't have access to affordable health care. We have workers forced to decide between paying rent, keeping the lights on, or seeing a doctor. Their work is deemed essential under the Railway Labor Act, yet because of that classification, they are effectively denied the collective bargaining power to secure basic standards like affordable health care. Meanwhile, multi-billion-dollar airlines flush with cash continue to profit while workers are pushed off government subsidies or face financial ruin just to access health care. This weekend, I stood with rideshare drivers in the lot in below zero temperatures, and I watched them, forced to pray, without shelter, without warmth, without dignity. That is the reality on the ground of MSP right now. So we are asking the MAC to meet this moment with clarity, stand with immigrant workers, continue the communication, but we do need action. And it means concrete protections, dignity on the job, and a commitment to safety for the people who power this airport, and we want to be a partner to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz. Excuse me. I have no additional speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address under the public forum? I will give you that opportunity to do so now. We will need you to fill a card out, but do I have anyone who wishes? If not, we will close the public comment period. Let me start by first acknowledging everyone who addressed the commission and shared very troubling, very passionate, very real, disturbing scenarios of what's occurring. We fully acknowledge that. We appreciate your taking the time to come and speak to us and share with us what you're experiencing. This is a topic that has garnered significant time and attention appropriately by the MAC and will continue to do so. I think it's important for our audience to understand that the MAC is not in collaboration with ICE or the ICE activities that are in play. Our focus is on the public safety and maintaining public safety at the airport and our airport facilities for all who are here, our workers, our workforce, our traveling public. That is where our focus and attention has and will continue to lie. We do not coordinate or get any advance notification of general aviation or non-commercial commercial flight operations. And that would include government-owned or operated aircraft. Operators of general aviation aircraft coordinate with private general aviation operators at MSP for any non-terminal operations and services. Importantly, it's also important to understand that MSP is a public use airport and we are subject to federal regulation. Federal laws prevent MSP from restricting access to MSP by public or private aircraft operators. So we We certainly are empathetic and troubled and distressed, but we also have parameters we need to stay within. I would like to ask our CEO and Executive Director Brian Ricks to offer some additional comments and insights on what we have been doing to try to maintain public safety at the airport and support our workforce.
Thank you, Chair Gartland, and good afternoon, Commissioners. And as Chair Gartland indicated, our police department is not participating in these activities in any way, and that is our intention. Our police department does a great job of responding to and addressing any concerns that may come up at our facility and throughout our property, both inside the fence and outside the fence. And our top priority is safety and security of employees, of passengers, of anyone that may be coming to this facility for whatever reason they may have. And that will continue to be the case. And our police department does a fantastic job of community policing, identifying concerns, issues, responding to those concerns, evaluating it, and taking appropriate action. And they will continue to do that. As Chair Gartland said, they are not supporting ICE activity, and they will not support that activity moving forward. As Ms. Diaz indicated, and as some of the other speakers indicated, there has been some activity in the TNC lot. We know of one incident over in the Delta G building lot that she also referred to, where ICE agents did question some employees. I asked our police department to review that surveillance and give me some feedback, and the ICE agents did ask those individuals some questions, and then according to the report back that I received, those employees went on their way. We have not heard any other incidences of badged employees being detained or questioned by ICE agents. So when we first, the first notice that we received a couple of weeks ago was reports of a couple of unattended vehicles along the Post Road area, and our police respond to those calls, and they take, again, appropriate action. As you can imagine, if a vehicle is in a location that may cause a security or safety threat, they will take action to remove that vehicle from that area. If a vehicle is left at the terminal facility, you can imagine that that could pose a threat, and they take appropriate action. Last week, we did hear about the incident that was discussed where ICE agents were in the TNC lot, and as the speaker indicated, our intention is that lot is for TNC drivers. And but at the same time, our police, as has been discussed, I think, at previous meetings, cannot interfere with ICE activity, nor can they limit where any federal individual agencies go on our property. And that is consistent with FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, the TSA, the FBI, ICE. They have unimpeded access to airport property, and so that's the situation that we have to honor because we are governed by federal regulation. We've had a lot of discussion, not only with President Namaker at SEIU, but also with Ms. Diaz. We've had discussions with the governor's office, and I want to thank Commissioner Ginsburg for being involved in those calls about what we can and cannot do. I think those conversations have been very productive. We continue to evaluate things that we can do and implement those things that we can do. What we have done is I have asked our police chief to increase patrols in the areas of employee lots on 34th Avenue, on East 70th, on Post Road. They have done that. They stepped that up a couple of weeks from a week ago last Friday. They've continued to do that. I've asked them to put surveillance in the TNC lot. They have done that. They did that last Friday as well. We are also doing what we can to work with those that may be impacted by this activity. And I think a good example of that is the vehicle that was, the individual was taken from in the TNC lot was left there, and we were asked if we could give it more time before it was towed. And in fact, we worked with our police department to leave that vehicle there in hopes that someone would contact a family member to retrieve that vehicle so it would not be towed and impounded, and I believe that's exactly what happened. So we will continue to work and do what we can to support passengers, employees, and anyone else that may be impacted by this activity here at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. I will also say this: if an employee, if anybody feels unsafe, call 911, and again, our officers will respond and address the situation to the best of their ability. So with that, I'll throw it out there for any questions from commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Commissioner Ginsburg?
Sure, if I could, just a brief comment. You know, what was presented here appeared to be we're disinterested. We're not paying attention. That's not accurate. And I can say that because I've been involved in it. And trust me, the colleagues that I sit with and the issues at hand are not only serious, they're abhorrent to everything that we believe in. But with that being said, there are limits to things we can do. And we are working with SCIU, and I applaud Sam Diaz. I applaud Greg Naumacher for bringing this to our attention, because when they did, we started looking at what was happening and how we could address it, and we're doing it on both sides. It may not be the perfect solution that people want to see, but it's something that we believe will try to downplay the activity that ICE and others that are doing, and we're doing everything we can. So I just want to make sure that people understand we not only hear you, but when we hear you, we act on things. Regarding the bathrooms and regarding the situation on that lot, that's another situation that we have heard over and over. I applaud Greg Naumacher and Sam Diaz for bringing that to our attention, and we've had conversations with them looking how we can figure out that situation and move that forward, and that is happening. So it's another one of those things. I just want to make sure that the public and everybody who's interested knows that we are trying to address that. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I can say it because I have at least the credibility on being a part of these discussions. And I appreciate everything that's being said here, but know you have people that care about what's going on.
Thank you, Commissioner Ginsburg. Others on the commission that have any comment they might like to offer? Thank you. And again, thank you to those who came forward and participated in hearing, and all others with interest in this. We're going to move on. On the agenda, we have no oath of office item, and our next item on the agenda is a resolution of appreciation that's being presented to Commissioner Caliso. And I'm actually going to invite a little bit of chair shifting to happen here. Normally, we would come down and do this in front of and at the podium, but I'm reliant on a scooter right now because of some repair work on my foot, so we're making this happen.